Hi there, it's David Young, the Resourceful Coach, and what we're going to look at today is bunker shots. Now, everything about my coaching and the idea of the videos that I'm putting out there for you to look at are all about improving your game on the golf course, and that's both by the physical side and the mental side. And the mental side for me is really important. And what we're going to show you today is the understanding of how to play certain shots out of a bunker. So we're going to look at really 4 or 5 different shots that you might come across, go through the basic technique of how to play a bunker shot, and then how we're going to use that technique to help you to maybe come across a ball up the face of the bunker, a downhill lie, a plug lie, or a slightly longer bunker shot when you play it. So the main thing we're going to put the emphasis in is understanding all of these sort of lies and how one technique will allow you to play it. And you're just going to make very subtle changes in your setup to get the desired result. And the reason for this is that the people that are subscribing to my YouTube channel, and if you want to subscribe, please do it, is they've come to me and said, look, how do we play these shots? So the lovely thing is I'm getting some good comments, getting some feedback, and you guys now are asking me what to do. Please send me anything else you want to know how to play the shot, anything on the golf course. This is the key thing, understanding different shots on the course. That's where I work. I'm improving my golfers that way. But anyway, today what we're going to look at, bunker shot. So it's probably the one shot in golf I would look at and think it's the hardest shot. It's probably the shot on average, the amateur golfer, it's their weakest shot. And the reason for that is 2 things for me. Number one, it's like no other shot. I mean, if we look at what you're playing off, you're playing off sand, you're playing off a loose surface. And all right, let's say on average you shoot 90. You might go in 2 bunkers around. So you're going to play on average about 2 to 3% of your shots are played in a bunker. The other 97, 98% are played off ground, which is firm. So you're now given a surface that's loose. It's going to give way when you hit it. And the second reason why we're not probably as good at this is most facilities where we go and practice may not have a bunker for you to practice in. So it's a shot you just generally play in a round of golf under pressure. And unless you have those facilities, it's very difficult to improve and understand what you're doing. So if you can, the idea today is to understand the technique, but then give yourself a chance, go and find somewhere where you can practice it, and it'll make a massive difference to your game. So let's just look at a sort of standard way of playing a bunker shot. And we're going to go throughout this, we're going to use 3 key things that I think a tour player does to guarantee he's going to get some success out of the bunker. And that's number 1. Firstly, understanding your golf club. Secondly, getting the right setup. And third, the right length of swing. So there are 3 things that we're going to look at and how that's going to work for us. And what we've got to understand is this is a shot, as I said, we're going to hit the sand deliberately. Now, the only time you won't do that, if you walk into the bunker and it's like rock, so it feels like the ground outside the bunker, then you can play it like a standard pitch shot, because your club isn't going to do what I'm going to encourage you to do in this bunker. But we've got sand in here and it will give way as we would expect a bunker to be. So if the ground's rock hard, play it like a pitch. Any other bunker shot where you know there's sand in the bunker, you're going to encourage you to play it the way I'm going to ask you to do. So let's understand the equipment. Let's understand what a sand iron or a lob wedge type club you might use out of bunker, how it's designed to help you get out. And the first thing is it's got loft. Okay, it's got an angle there that's designed when it goes under the ball, it will make the ball jump up into the air. You do the same technique with this with a 6 iron, the ball's going to go a lot lower. So straight away it's got loft. But here's the key bit, is what we call the bounce of the club. The bounce of the club is the back edge of the club here. We want to use that to slide underneath. And I think the best way to think about it is if you took a tennis player playing a drop shot at the net, they're sort of slicing underneath. They're going to open the racket up, they're going to go underneath. And that's what I want you to think about when you play this shot. There's the standard shot position with the club. If we open it up, what I call, that would be 12 o'clock, dial it to 1 o'clock and then open it up. It now makes the club have a lot more loft, and it now gives you a much smaller amount of club that's going to slide under the ball. And that's what's going to give you elevation. That's what's going to give you backspin. They're the 2 things that we're after when we're playing this shot. So how we do that? So first thing, what the tour player will do, he'll dial the club open to 1 o'clock, take his grip, and we're just going to show you through the sand. That now gets the club sliding through the sand, whereas if I have it more square, the club will dig into the sand. We'll come to how that might be important in one of our shots later to get the result that we want. Okay, So we want to dial that club open. So that's part number one. That's to help us to understand the equipment. Now, setup wise, what I want to do is I want to deliberately hit the sand behind the ball. And we're going to hit it. Let's just use another ball, approximately about a ball behind. So I'm going to hit about 1.5 inches behind the ball. That's what I want to do. So round about 1.5 inches is about 4 centimeters. And because the surface is loose, it's going to give way as I go through it. But I now want to create a setup that's going to fit that idea to give me the idea of getting consistency out of the bunker. And this is the next two positions with the tour player's feet make it easy to do this. So the first thing they'll do is they'll position where they want to hit the sand in the middle of their stance. So their ball position looks fractionally forward in their stance. They're going to keep their feet reasonably parallel to where they want to go. And the reason for that, remember what we said, is they're not hitting the ball. They're hitting the sand. So actually the direction of the ball is going to be influenced by the direction of the sand. So if my sand is going towards the target, then the ball has an opportunity to come out of the bunker that way. So my feet are reasonably parallel. So I've got the point of entry there. I've got my feet nice and parallel. And here's the key bit that the tour player does. He then digs his feet in. And he digs his feet in approximately the amount he's going to go into the sand behind the golf ball. So about that 4 centimeters, that 1.5 inches behind the ball. And what that does now, if you think about it, when you play a pitch shot off the grass, you play it from the same level in general as the ball. Now we want to deliberately go underneath the ball. If I dig in, I become lower, the arc of the swing becomes lower. That makes it easy to get the result. So that's the biggest reason why they do it. They do it for two other reasons. The second one is they sense how much sand is in the bunker, so they can feel how much sand they want to take. And the third reason, which what you all think is the main reason you do it, it gives them some level of grip. But you're not looking at grip. I'm only looking to hit a bunker shot here, maybe 30, 40 feet. I don't need a massive amount of grip. I don't want to dig myself in to just be solid. I want to feel that I'm not going to slip, but I'm not going to thrash this ball. You'll see that with the swing. So from that position, because I've lowered myself into the sand, it gives me a great chance I'm going to hit the sand at that point without even thinking about hitting the sand. It's going to happen. So there are first two things. The equipment, we've dialed the club open, we've created a setup that's now going to make it easy. Now on the swing side, all I'm going to do one very small thing with my setup. I'm just going to favour my weight on my left side, and then I'm going to make what I call a 3/4 swing. Okay, and that means that when I swing back, waist high would be half. This would be a full swing up here. I'm going to make a 3/4 swing. And from that, if I keep the momentum from there, from that position, if I let the club swing through and my arm swing through, I'm going to get momentum to go through the sand and encourage that ball to come out of the bunker. So that length of swing is going to help me to do that. All I've got to do now is trust it, hit the sand, and if I do that, the ball's going to come out. So let's see if that happens. From there, and we're out of the bunker. Okay, and the biggest thing, I'm not really showing you where the ball is going, not because the shot isn't good or bad or whatever it is, it's because I want you to focus on the technique and get the idea of the shot first, rather than worrying where the ball's going. Get the technique right, see the ball start to come out, then you can start to concern yourself with the distance that you're going. But the idea sometimes is not to worry about always the end result. Get a feel for the technique, and then you can adapt it to that. So we're going to use that basic idea now to show you the next two shots and how we're not going to change too much. We're just going to go with the lie and how that's going to affect the shot. We're going to look at a ball up the face of the bunker. We're going to look at a ball at the back of the bunker. So we've got an uphill lie and a downhill lie. But you'll see I'm not going to change that much from what I just showed you from the basic bunker shot. And it will make it so much easier and you'll be so much more consistent in what you're doing. So our first shot we're going to look at these awkward lies is the ball up the face of the bunker. And what I've done here, I've just taken the rake and I've just put it on the edge of the bunker, coming down into the bunker, and you can see the severity of the slope. And the reason why I want to use that idea is because what's really important when we look at these first two lies, the uphill lie on the face of the bunker and the downhill lie at the back of the bunker, all you've got to do is take the technique that we just did and put it into this slope. And then understand how that's going to affect the shot and affect the flight of the ball. So when I played from a standard bunker lie there, the ball came out probably a good 6-7 feet up into the air, landed on the green. Looking at the ball on the green now, it stopped probably within about 15 feet. And that was just a standard bunker shot. Now, if we look at this slope here, let's just sort of look at that. And if I get my body going with it, the biggest thing I want to do here is I want to get if I can, the same amount of sand that I took from that lie and do it from here. And this is probably the one shot in golf I was never very good at as a junior golfer, because I was never explained how to do it. Because I was always encouraged, as we showed you on that shot, to put a little bit more weight on my left side, I would lean into the slope, and what would happen is I would hit the sand and I would probably take 4 or 5 times more sand than I needed to do, and the ball would just come out of the bunker. So what's really important with the shot is understand, look at the rake. That's really important. What we're going to do, we're going to take that rake initially, and I'm going to look at it and I think, right, I've got that angle there. I've got to get my body going at the same angle as that. I've got to get my shoulders going at the same angle. And if you think about it now, if my angle is at the same angle as the slope, I've now got a chance to take the same amount of sand out of the shot, out of the bunker. So again, I'm going to get a more consistent strike on the shot. So this is the one shot we're going to show you today. I'm not going to put my weight on my left side because of the severity of the slope. I'm putting my weight a little bit on my lower foot, which now is my right side. But you can see the angle of that slope as we go through it. And what's really important, that allows me and gives me the chance to take the same amount of sand that I took back there. Second thing I want you to look at is look at the difference in the rake. We've got the low point here, high point there. Think about, if we're going that way, which way now is the ball going to tend to go? It looks like it's going to go up high. So what you're going to gain, and this is why when you watch a tour player play a shot up the face of the bunker, he doesn't mind it too much because he's on a little bit of an upslope. And what we showed you with the rake, it's now going to make the golf ball go higher. Now, if you hit the ball higher, the ball can stop quicker. You've got a little bit more control. Most people are too quick to look at the face and the grass here and worry about that. But if you tilt your body with the slope, and the big thing now, we talked about grip on that shot. This is the one I want to get my right foot into the sand, get good grip. So I'm not going to slip. I don't want to slip over, but I want to tilt my body with the slope, and I'm looking again to hit the same point in the sand, that roughly that golf ball behind. If I do that, it's going to go out higher. We're going to get a better result on that side. It's going to come out of the bunker, and out it comes. Now, what you may find as you get used to this shot is that ball's gone out and it's gone a lot shorter than the other one. And if you think about it logically, why has it gone shorter? Because it's gone higher. So as you practice it more, depending on the distance you've got to go, you may find yourself realizing I need to make a slightly bigger swing to hit it a little bit further to get the result. But it's great fun when you get it, because you see this ball go way up in the air, comes down and lands softly on the green. Sometimes stops within about a foot. And there's no better feeling than that when you hit a golf shot. So really, really important when you play this, look at the rake, look at the idea of what we're doing, get that back foot nice and solid in the sand, and then from there decide, how big a swing to do it. And again, you've got to practice it to now get that ball out. And now that's much more the shot I want. And whereas the other one stopped probably in about 15 feet, that stopped in 5. So we're going to learn from that, because we're now going to play a downhill lie. We're going to see the opposite effect, and we need to understand how that's going to affect the shot. So we've now got our downhill lie, and we're using the same sort of idea, so you can get the same picture in your mind. We've put the rake down, showing you how much now the head of the rake is down into the sand, whereas before it was going up and out of the sand. So this is really important, and this becomes, the next 2 shots we're going to go through are probably the 2 toughest bunker shots you're going to sort of come across when you play. I mean, really the last 3 shots that we're going to play is a downhill bunker shot, a plug lie, and then a long bunker shot. And why this is difficult is because normally in front of us will be the face of the bunker. And where we said the tour player likes the fact the ball is up the face of the bunker and he gets a bit more height, we're going to get the opposite effect. Look, the rake is doing the opposite, so the ball's going to do the opposite. And the most important thing, you've got to allow that to happen. Okay, do not fall into the trap that we're going to show you in a minute, that you then get really inconsistent results. So there's our rake. What are we going to do with our body? We've got to get our body going at the same angle as the rake. So what's that going to do? Now that's going that way. It's going to make the golf ball go lower. So this is going to change 2 things. Okay, the main thing is the flight of the ball is going to come out a lot lower than normal. And then that might be a decision you have to make depending on the bank in front of you, the sort of lip of the bunker. And then we said the other ball, when we played it nicely, stopped within about 5 feet. And the original ball stopped in 15, so the orthodox shot. this is going to run on more. This will probably run 30 feet because now we're going to lose the shot. Now, we're not changing our technique. We're still dialing the club open, but the difference now is I've got to get my weight going with the slope. Got to get that angle going that way. And the most important thing, you've got to eliminate in your head you want to get this ball up. Because as soon as you do that, you're going to come back here. And because of how severe I've made this shot, you could hit the bank here and have an air shot. You could miss it. Or you're just going to fluff it 2 feet in front of you. So the goal here, anywhere on that green is a good shot, even at my level. Okay, even as a professional golfer, from that lie, I'm happy to get this on the green. And you'll see even the commentators talking about the tour player. He's just happy to get this in play, get down in 3, good result. But what are we doing? Now it will look like, because of the severity of the slope, I've got now probably 85, 90% of my weight on my left side. And just watch how my body will stay there. I'm going to slide that underneath there and through, and I'm watching the ball. And as we said, that ball's rolled probably 25, 30 feet. But it's going to do that, so realise that. And that's the good thing. If you've suddenly got the flag over the other side of the green and you can get it over the lip, you know the ball's going to run out. It just becomes a trickier shot when the flag's cut close to you. But stick it 25 feet away and 2-putt it. Because 3 from this position, even a tour player would say, I'll take that. If he gets down in 2, it's a bonus. But you can see from those 2 lies, the rake is showing you the angle. I'm staying with the same technique. All I've changed is I've put my weight on my left side on that shot to go with the slope, but the swing stayed the same. I've put my weight more on my right side with that shot, but my swing stayed the same. So we're hardly changing anything. We're just understanding the importance of the slope and how that's going to affect the shot. But let's look at that plug lie and see how that can affect your shot. And we're going to show you 2 scenarios you might get in a plug lie, and then 2 ways that you can play the shot. So our next awkward lie is the plug lie. And what we're going to show you again, we're just going to change one thing from that original setup position that's going to make it easier to play this shot. But we're going to show you there's probably 2 different types of sand you might come across, and we're going to play it in 2 different ways. I would say the first way we're going to show you, you're probably going to use this 80% of the time. The only other time you'll change what I'm going to encourage you to do is if you've got a lot of fluffy sand in your bunker and you realise, yeah, that club will go through the sand a lot easier. So we're only going to change one thing. The first thing we talked about from the basic bunker shot, the standard bunker shot, was equipment. And we talked about dialing the club open to slide through the sand. Because that ball is sitting down, we don't want to slide through the sand now. We now want to dig it out of the sand. And the club will help you to do that. So we're going to use the digging edge of the club, that leading edge, and rather than open it up, we're going to slightly close it. And what that's going to do is it's going to make the club dig into the sand. We want that club to feel like it's going into the sand to make it come out. We're going to do exactly the same setup. We're going to set up, dig the feet in, everything the same, square stance, everything the same. We're just going to trust the golf club is now going to do the work for you. So we're not changing dramatic amount here. Now, what you've got to understand then with the flight of the ball is the ball is going to come out of the bunker with a lot less backspin on it. When we played the normal bunker shot, because we could slide underneath, we got around about 15 feet or so of roll from the original position. This is probably going to double. So realize that. Don't think if the flag's cut close, you're going to get it to stop. You're not going to. And the reason for that is the golf ball is encased. You could see from that picture, encased in sand. You're not going to be able to put as much backspin on it. But that's okay, because this is an awkward, horrible lie. So anywhere on the green, we'll take it. So same setup. All I'm going to do, set up, dig my feet in, thinking about hitting that ball width behind. And now all I'm going to do, close the face down slightly. So now I've gone 11 o'clock rather than 1 o'clock. Keep my weight on my left side, hit the line, and out comes the ball. And just watching the ball, it's a bit like the downhill lie. It's come out and it's probably run 25, 30 feet. Now, because we've got a bit of a damp day here today, we're not quite getting that. So I may not be able to show what I want you to do on that other lie you might get, because the sand here is quite heavy. But if you do happen to walk in and it feels like the sand is fluffy and light and lovely, but it's still plugged, I always remember seeing this before, and I think it was Fred Couples the first time I ever saw it, and he just played it like a normal bunker shot. And all he did is he just made sure he hit a couple of inches behind. That's all he did. And he made sure then that club would slide underneath. And if you've got that fluffy sand, you've got a chance to maybe have a little bit more control on the shot. That's the key thing to understand. You might have that chance. So just go back to the normal shot, loads of fluffy sand, play it like that, hit down, it comes out. Unfortunately today, because this sand's quite wet, the club bounced a little bit and it's gone through the ball and I've hit it to the other side of the green. And you might have heard the ball being slightly hit there. So you can only do that if the sand is really fluffy. Okay, if it's not, play it the way I said. Dial it to 11 o'clock, let the club dig in. I think you'll have initially more success with that. And then as you do it more, you can experiment with the other shot. But get that one right and you've got a chance. Okay, so let's look at really now a long bunker shot and see how that can affect us when we're playing the shot. And then we might just do one other shot that looks a little bit awkward, just to give you a little bit of a bonus shot before we finish the lesson today. So here's the long bunker shot. And biggest thing I'll say here, this is probably the hardest shot in golf. Because again, we don't practice it and there's no room for error. You've got to get it right. So we're going to show you what I would call the way I would like you to play it and have the confidence to do it from our standard technique. But then there's another way we could play it. It might be a little bit simpler and you might find that gives you a little bit more consistent results to start with. But all we're going to look at, we're looking at a shot here. We've probably got close to 70 feet of green before we get to that flag. And again, what would be a good result? Get it down in 3, you're doing fine. You're not going to be losing shots, whatever level of handicap you are. Okay, it's only those guys, probably 5 handicap or lower, who'll be looking to get this up and down maybe 50% of the time. If you can do it, fantastic. So, same technique. All I'm changing mentally is just think I've just got to put a little bit more speed into it. So for me, I'm just going to make the swing a little bit bigger. Biggest word here, commit. Because this is the shot. If you don't commit, you come out about 2 feet or you thin it across the other side of the green. But same technique. Dial the club open, dig the feet in, keep that nice and neutral, and now just have the confidence. It's a great shot if you get it. If you can land this 10 feet short, 1 hop up, spin, no better feeling there. Oh, just a little bit more sand than I want. Still got it probably within about 20 feet. So it's, if I'm honest, that's about an average shot for me for this shot because again, I don't practice it too much. But if you find that a bit scary, here's another option. Okay, and it's interesting because I had a lesson out here this morning and the guy sort of said to me, how do you play this sort of chunk and run shot? And it's basically you're going to deliberately hit more sand, but you're going to do it with a club with a little bit less loft, so it's going to make the ball come out lower and run. And explained it to him and he played a great shot. Okay, it's not a shot I practice. I'd much rather play the other one. So this might not go as well as I'd like, but all we're going to do, rather than have that club dialed open, we're going to sort of square it up a little bit more, play the same shot, a little bit less of a swing. I think that's why people like it, because then there's less that it feels like it can go wrong. From there, a little bit of weight left side, hit a couple of inches behind, there, comes out very low, it's running down the green. It's about 3 feet closer than my other ball, so maybe I need to practice it more. But if I'm honest, I like the other shot. I think it's fun. And I think that's the important thing. With all of these shots we're telling you to do in the bunker, have a bit of fun with it. Because if you can make it enjoyable, those awkward lies don't seem to be quite so daunting. So let's see if we can do a better version this time and get it closer than those other two. Oh, that's a better shot. Oh, it's got so much backspin on it. I've probably only put it about 2 feet closer than the others. So, but that's fun. That's what I want to do. We're going to look at one more shot that you might get if you're really, really unlucky when you play a game of golf. Shouldn't get this too often, but you might get it. And then that's all our awkward shots created and done. So here's our bonus shot. We're going to talk a little bit about that really unlucky shot you get. It just trickles in the bunker. And now you can see from the rake that we've put in the bunker to show you the slope, we've got a ball way below our feet. And this is a shot, one of my heroes I learnt from, and it was Nick Faldo. Watched him on the TV, and it made so much sense. And what I see with this shot is most people, the connection of how they take the amount of sand is poor. They either take no sand and the ball flies over the other side of the green, too much sand, it just comes out. What I learned from Faldo, and remember Faldo's a big guy, so this is not an easy shot for somebody that big. Faldo's sort of 6'4", 6'5". And what he did is how he used his legs to get himself at the right height so he could then just feel the shot very much through his arms and how his body then would turn through the shot. We're going to stick with the same technique, the idea of dialing the club open, taking that, and how we set up. Now, the difference is, number one, I'm not digging my feet in. So now you've got to work out how much you've got to lower your body. So this again is a shot, we've talked about it before, practice it. You saw earlier the shot I don't practice very much, I wasn't very good at, the chunk and run, but I was much happier playing the other shot. So practice this, give it a chance. Now, what did Faldo do? Well, the biggest thing we want to do is we want to get lower because we've got to get down to that ball. And what I used to do is I'd just literally bend my legs. But what I saw Faldo do is he bent his legs, but he did it in half the amount, because what he did brilliantly, he widened the stance. And if you think about it, the wider I get, look how much lower I'm getting. Now, what it will do is restrict how much you can turn, but we're playing a bunker shot. We're not looking for like a driver type power to get this ball down there. So what he did was probably half width, half lowering the body. And then from that position, he could sense and feel the shot. And from that point, it was easy then to get the shot. So he just went a little bit wider there, get the feel, think, right, still want to hit that 1.5 inches or so, ball width behind, 4 centimeters there, and then just trust it back, through, out it comes. And you'll be amazed, if you watch that video there very closely, how high that ball got. That ball was up here. Okay, that ball was 6 feet up in the air within probably the first 6-8 feet of its flight. So you hit that sand correctly, you're going to get results. So what we've shown you is all we've done is we've taken the standard bunker shot and we've adapted it. Whether it's this lie and we've had to widen the stance and lower the knees, whether we've gone uphill lie, we've just tilted the body up, downhill lie, we've tilted down. We learned from that flight, that's going to go higher, uphill lie, that's going to go lower, downhill lie. Think of the words, up, hill, up, downhill, down. It's going to make the golf ball do that. The plug lie, look at the amount of sand. If you're lucky enough and you're playing somewhere with really fluffy sand, you could play the standard shot. Otherwise, dial that club in, close it down a little bit. Then if you're working on your long bunker shots, have a bit of fun with it. Play the standard technique and just feel the shot. If you want to do that chunk and run again, just change the club face, a little bit less loft on the club, get the ball onto the green, get it running. This is a shot you can have a lot of fun with, but it's a shot most of you are scared of. Make it fun, because if you can get this to be a good shot in your game, you're going to save so many shots. And when you see that ball go towards the bunker, you're not going to dread it, you're going to get excited. Watch the top players. They see the ball go to the bunker, they have more success out of the bunker, probably from chipping, because they've practiced it a lot. Okay, for me, this is a massive shot. You can save so many shots in a round of golf. I hope you enjoyed that tip. I really enjoyed it, because for me, it's the one shot in golf I probably enjoy the most playing, because it's the most satisfying when you get it right. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and please share this video with your friends. Thank you.